A few interview questions for her. First, I have to ask, what color is your hair going to be next time I see you? Because every time I see you, your hair is different.
I'm gonna keep this for a while. I'm gonna keep this for a while, but eventually I'll have like purple hair.
Do any of your parents play music or anything?
My parents are not really musical, but my brother is a classical musician. He plays the flute. He's very talented. He's been to Juilliard. He went to Juilliard for school in high school. He's gotten many scholarships for music. He's really he's probably the best musician I know.
Wow. So is that who influenced you to be who you are today?
Well, I mean, yeah, he influenced me in the way that how hard he works. Not necessarily the style, because I do stuff completely different than that. But I've been to so many concerts when I was little of him, like in orchestras and stuff, because he likes it, and it's really cool to understand how how a lot of that stuff isn't really popular anymore because it was something that was so big, like such a long time ago, and it's really shows how intricate music is and how great it can be. I mean, of course you can have it great like this too, but it's really cool how you can see how that works too. Classical music is where everything started, so.
Yes. Who influenced you, bands and stuff? Yeah.
I have to say, I started getting into rock music. I heard a couple of Green Day songs and I was like, oh, cool. So I started, and then my mom signed me up for this camp thing at the School of Rock where you just you go and then you play these songs from one band, and it was Green Day. So I was like, okay, I know them, cool, whatever. So and then after that I was like, oh, these people are good. So I'm so I started listening to Green Day, and then I just that's been always be my favorite band, even though I don't listen to as much as I used to, but that made me get into a lot of other stuff, a lot of into 90s music, a lot of into a lot of stuff now. When I said I would mention Pierceville, it's one of my favorite bands. I love them. I listen to so many different times. I listen to indie, I listen to classic rock, alternative rock, even screamo, but I listen to I really my music taste has gotten so diverse ever since I introduced myself to rock music.
Do you get nervous? You don't seem to be very nervous.
Yeah. I always get nervous no matter what. I actually am more nervous around crowds like this because it's not a lot of people. If it's a lot of people and you're on a stage, I'm okay, I can't see anyone. Here I'm oh my god, everyone's looking at me. No, but yeah, even especially nervous today, I was when my voice cracked, I was oh my god. Yeah, the stuff like that, I drive myself crazy about stuff like that. But I try, I've gotten a lot better. I try to not be that nervous.
What do you do to not be nervous? Do you have techniques? Or just forget about it?
Not really. I just try to make sure I'm prepared. Because I hate when I get nervous because I feel like I'm going to forget what I'm playing or what the song I'm singing. So I try to prepare myself, but because if I'm not prepared, then I feel really nervous because I'm oh my god, what if I screw up?
How do you balance your music and school and hanging out with your friends and your family?
Well, I have to say school this year was a lot harder because in middle school, oh, it's easy. I just started doing it in middle school, in 8th grade, and I was okay, this isn't much, because, there wasn't much to do, but now I was, in high school, honors classes, everything. It's a lot of homework, a lot of stuff to do. I can't do much during the year. I just can't, because...
Cyber school, Mom.
Cyber school.
Yeah, but yeah, it's hard to do a lot, especially as it comes next year, and next year is going to be even harder. But we do a lot in the summer now, because it's just really hard during the year. But, I mean... I still practice and go out and do stuff on the weekends, and I'll make it work,
How can you utilize the connections you make with people?
Well, obviously, You need to be as nice as possible and courteous because like you always want them to keep asking you for things, and you know it's really important to keep those connections strong and make sure that everything's on good terms because you know it's gonna get you places. Even if it like anything, it could be something so small. Maybe you don't get paid for it, but even that something could come out of that. The more opportunities you have, the better.
Good answer. I like that one. Does anyone else have any questions? She's like, You?
I had that one song that you sang that you wrote. How many songs have you written?
I've written that one. I wrote with my friend. Like I started it, and I was like, "Hey, you want to help me finish it?" So we did. And like when she's with me, we usually sing together. And I have another one that I'm gonna play later after this. And then also, I started writing another one, and it's like half a song, so I'm not really gonna. I didn't like play it out yet because it's not finished. But yeah, I'm kind of just started getting into that because you know school's over, summer, I have time, and like I want to get started on my own stuff because that's really what matters. Because you know there's only so much stuff you can do with cover songs. So I'm getting into that now, and I'm like, it's really hard for me. I feel like I'm such a perfectionist on it. Like I want it to be so good, but it's not going to be the first time. So even the next song I'm going to play, I don't really love it. Everyone's like, oh, I like it, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. But yeah, but I'm getting into that, and I really want to keep doing it.
Bob said you're only a few songs away from your EP.
Yeah. It's called an extended play. Instead of a full-length album, it's only maybe like 5 or 6 songs. So it's like a short album. And so you just record it. So if I have like 5 or 6 songs, I can do an EP, which is actually a lot less money to record than a full-length album. And yeah, so if I wrote like 2 more or 3 more songs, I could have an EP and I could sell CDs.
Who would buy them? Everyone. All right.
Do you have like a specific process that you like kind of go about when writing your songs? Like, do you just, when you write a song, do you just like sit down and you're like, okay, I want to write a song in this key and do it this way, or do you just kind of sit down and just let the ideas just flow out of your brain?
Well, sometimes I just try to like, it depends. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I like these chords together, so I'm going to use that. But I don't really know if it's going to be in that key necessarily. You know, for me, lyrics are the hardest. Like, I always listen to bands who have really cool lyrics, and I'm like, oh, I want them to be so cool and poetic and stuff. And then I'm like, okay, I can't. I usually just write down lyrics first, then I'll put the music to it, because otherwise I just can't get anywhere. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Yeah.
So do you try to like use a specific rhyme scheme or try to rhyme your words with?
I don't rhyme them all the time, but I try to have like a pattern that like makes sense. Sometimes it'll rhyme, but not all the time, because I don't want it to be like, you know, an actual poem. I want it to just be poetic.
Anybody else?
Take it away.